We've got to get the truth out. That is what we need.
We do need to get the truth out there. Hi, I'm Charles Goyette, and I'm here to ask for your help in getting the truth out with an important new documentary about America's leading champion of liberty, Ron Paul. In 2013 and 14, I arranged the national syndication of twice-daily radio commentaries with Ron Paul, which I also produced and co-hosted. Ron Paul's America was heard on 125 radio stations across the nation, and our podcasts are carried on iTunes. I've spent a long time helping Ron spread the word about phony wars, about the destructive monetary policies of the Federal Reserve, about crony banksters and their bailouts, and about the snooping of the national surveillance state and the trampling of your constitutional rights. No one in our lifetimes has been as effective at spreading the message of liberty as Ron Paul. Now it's time for the Ron Paul story to be told in a feature-length, theatrical quality documentary. Although Ron has been approached many times, he hasn't agreed to cooperate in a documentary until now.
I've had a lot of other groups doing this, but there was some reluctance, either my position or the individual's ability to understand the philosophy. And that's where I felt comfortable, because I've known you now for a couple years and way back in radio times, and I've read your books, and in these last 2 years we've gotten to know each other very well, and we've done a lot of work on podcasts as well as radio ads, not 5 or 10, but into the hundreds. So we have spent a lot of time on this. So the one thing that I know with certainty is you know the philosophy.
The media, the governing classes, the establishment were blindsided by the Ron Paul revolution. But as the world discovered in the last 2 presidential races, there are countless people across the land, especially younger people and students, eager to join in the Ron Paul revolution. They want to end the undeclared and unconstitutional wars that have left us less safe and less free. They want to end the Fed's money printing madness and to return to sound money. They are people who see the failure of the war on drugs and the way that it's turned local police into paramilitary operations. People who have learned that about the only ones who tell the truth in Washington are the whistleblowers. People who have seen the way the global military empire is bankrupting the nation, while the crony capitalists are helping themselves and helping to destroy the middle class. Now I'm asking for your help in telling the story of Ron Paul's battle against the empire of lies, telling it the way the media didn't want it told. Already, Ron Paul supporters, highly accomplished professionals, have agreed to join me in this production. Cameras, crews, and post-production facilities. Our schedule calls for a release in the first half of 2016, when the presidential primaries are underway and people are paying close attention to politics. But first, there is costly archival film footage that we need to acquire to include in the documentary. It'll help us pull the curtain back on the political hacks and to show people who don't know the part the nation's lapdog press has played in burying the news of the Ron Paul revolution. What? The media distorting the news? Yeah, here's an example of just what I mean.
So now with Pawlenty dropping out, Rick Perry dropping in, and Michelle Bachmann and Ron Paul dominating the Ames straw poll, we got ourselves a race.
We have a top tier. It is Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann.
We have a new top tier, and it's Perry, Mitt Romney, and Bachmann.
There's now a top tier in this race, at least for now, of Romney, Perry, and Bachmann.
I mean, I think that's fair to say. Really fair to say? You're not forgetting, I don't know, anyone, say an ideologically consistent 12-term congressman who came within less than 200 votes of winning the straw poll? Isn't anyone going to give that gentleman a little love?
There's a top tier now of Bachmann and Perry and Romney, and, you know, we haven't mentioned, and we should.
Thank you.
We haven't mentioned, and we should, Rick Santorum, who did really surprisingly well for the amount of money and resources he had.
Rick Santorum? He didn't get half of what Ron Paul got. He lost to the guy who lost so bad he dropped out of the race.
But I don't have to tell you about the media. There are also people across the country that we need to interview to make the Ron Paul story complete. And that means travel expenses for our crew. And of course, our promotional efforts are absolutely vital to getting the Ron Paul story in front of as many people as possible. Now, your backing keeps this project independent, and that's essential. I'm not willing to make a weak or a watered-down version of the Ron Paul story. Your backing helps tell the real story of the Empire of Lies. In a moment, we'll provide a button that you can click to find out more and make it easy for you to join us. But first, here's Ron again.
I feel flattered that you even think that it's important that I be, an important part of it, because I think some big things are happening. And I think libertarianism and freedom, as bad as things look on the surface, I believe the rumblings are just wonderful there. And my relationship with young people, I think, is an indication that this whole system, monetary-wise, and even our foreign policy, world foreign policy, is going to fall apart.
As you'll see, we've put together some fun rewards to thank you for playing a part in this story. But you know, the most important reward of all is helping to restore America's place as a land of liberty and opportunity, of peace and prosperity. And we're serious about that, which is why, after the documentary is released next year, a portion of the proceeds will go to help support the Ron Paul Institute for Peace and Prosperity. The Ron Paul Revolution has awakened a lot of people, and more are ready to be awakened every day now. Please click the button on your screen now, and thank you very much for joining with us in this important cause. It is the cause of freedom and prosperity. And thanks for sharing this story with your friends and family too.